Mythics, how are we all? Yes, it's another Saturday morning. It's way too early. That's why I'm late. Yes, I've had a lovely snooze. It was my birthday yesterday, so come on, come with some slack. Yes, we are back. My name is Ken Boyter, a little bit older. This is Gockle Snook, a little bit younger. That's how imps age. I don't make the rules. And you are watching the Edra Tales Twitch channel. And if you want to catch up on any episodes that we've done previously before, any live streams, go check out the Edra Tales YouTube channel, because that is where I export these over to YouTube, because Twitch now has put a limit on how much you can save onto their channel, which is fair enough. And we also have another YouTube channel called The Bottled Imp, me and my friend Julian. There he is, that's Gockle Snook of The Bottled Imp. We have over 450 episodes of fantasy goodness, fantasy film reviews, fantasy book reviews, and fantasy board game reviews as well. So, there we are. And this is Edra Scrolls, Ramblings of a Storyteller. Yes, I am said storyteller, and yes, I do ramble. The aim of the show is to talk about fantasy. It's all couched in a fantasy theme, but also talk about your creative projects, talk about my creative projects, and then see what else happens. Talk about other stuff as well. And if you are new to the channel, you might want to follow it. It does help with the algorithm. We've got 85 followers, which is not bad considering I don't advertise this channel at all. I just haven't got the time. I'm too busy with my creative projects. And if you also want to go and follow the Edra Tales YouTube channel as well, that would be most appreciative. Yes, hello, Martha. You need more sleep as well. I woke up at 20 to 10. 20 to 10. I think you and I are both night owls, aren't we? We actually prefer the night time to the morning. So I'm just going to have a bit of troll's blood. See if that wakes me up in the morning. Here we go. That's pretty good, actually. And good evening, good sunset, Lirin. How are you? Apologies for sleeping over West. No worries, Lirin. You do not have to apologise. Made the mistake Thompson and Thompson did in Tintin. I love the reference. I turned the alarm by accidentally from 2 AM to 2 PM instead, and my body decided I should sleep through it. Good sunset to you, Martha. No worries, Lirin. As I always say, real life takes priority. Good morning, Sally, and good morning, Jam. Real life takes priority over live streams. That's always how I see it. You've got stuff to do, you're busy people, or you need sleep. And if you need sleep, you need sleep. So, morning, my lovely worldwide wonders of the Boyter. Sound like my children. I'm not that old, although it was my birthday yesterday. Oh, so I am another year old. There we go. I need to get a new sign. This one's getting a bit old, like myself. Old and rickety and falling down. Should we put that up a little bit higher? There we go. Oh. These dungeon walls aren't what they used to be. Good evening, Warlock Jam and Bard Sally. Sleep or fish and chips anyway? Yes. Morning, just woke up. Sally's just woken up as well. Yeah, I woke up at 20 to 10. There we go. So yes, it was my birthday yesterday, and Sally did get me a few presents. Not all fantasy based. So we've got this one, George Sineon, My Friend Magritte. Found it in a charity shop. So second-hand books, and also this one, the Book of English Magic, which is absolutely fantastic, by Philip Carr-Gomm and Richard Haygate. You see, that's magic right there. Is that you, Gockle Snook? Playing about. Come on now. It doesn't like it, does it? Haven't got time for that. May Gray. Oh, May Gray. What did I say? Magritte. Maigret. How is that Maigret? Look, there's clearly a T on the end. There's no Y. If it was Maigret, you'd spell it how you spelled it. Oh, and that's... It's not George, it's got an S on the end as well or something. Something fishy going on. Martha's considering deleting my book. What? Martha, do not delete it. Stop there. Do not delete it. I don't feel it's any good. You have read the short version of the first chapter for short story competition. Yeah, just whoa. Do not delete it. Just leave it. And if you, oh, honestly, this breaks my heart. If you're not happy with a bit of creativity that you've done, whatever it is, don't delete it, don't destroy it, don't throw it away. Put it to one side. And you may never read it again, you may never go back to it, but you've got the choice then if you want to. I did exactly the same with a novel I wrote when I was 17. It was called The Diary of Arthur Tollbridge. And then I changed the name. Well, this is the story. The Diary of Arthur Tollbridge. I wrote 30,000 words. It was, you know, I thought it'd be a kid's book, sort of a bit like Terry Pratchett in a way. And I never went anywhere, obviously. I thought I'd ran out of plot, but I didn't realise at the time that children's novels could actually be 30,000 words. And so I just left it. I just left it for years and years and years and years. And then I went, oh, let me go back to it. And I read it. I went, yeah, okay, it's not very good. But then I rewrote some of it. I started to work on it again. And then I changed it to Loquacious. Was it? Loquacious. Not McCarbre. Gracious Loquacious is what I called it. Gracious Loquacious. And then started to work on it again. And I didn't send it anywhere, I didn't do anything with it. But it was a very valuable experience. And out of that, the name Loquacious came. But what I'm trying to say is that, yeah, you might not like it now, but give it another, you know, half a year or something like that. And you might go back to it and go, right, I now know how to fix it. So please, don't delete it, because that'd be such a shame. Especially nowadays where it's not taking up any space on your laptop, on your computer. You know, a Word file document takes up hardly any space. Whereas a physical printout, yeah, if you've not got a space in your house for it, in your flat for it, then, yeah, throw that away. But just keep the digital version. Cargom is a care home, is a home care company here. Is it? Cargom. Maybe it's run by Philip. Yes, Jam, I did realise that it is French. It is French. Oh, I'm just going to have to leave it like that. I'm not playing games with you, Sign. I'm not playing games. Yeah, Sally's put, no, don't delete it. Yeah, look, Jam's put here, my book, The Druids of Pneumonia... Can't pronounce that, sorry. Sat in a folder for 25 years. I thought it was rubbish until I had an inspiration walk to alter it. So you went out for a walk and then you thought, oh, actually, I know how I could change this. So there you go. That's another example, probably a better example, because Jam then went on. we know it's Edra Tales. We know it's Edra Tales. I really need to print out a new sign. It's getting a bit... It's what happens when you get old. Things start decaying. Yeah, there you go. Good example. And then Jam went on to then self-publish that. So, you know, was that a Kickstarter, Jam? Put 2 years of work on it and even planned to hire an artist for the cover. Absolutely, Martha. What I would say is, don't delete it. If you're unhappy with it, yeah, like Jam said, just put it to one side, give it some space. Then your brain, the way, I don't know, creativity works for me is that You might be stuck on a puzzle, you know, or stuck on a problem, whatever the situation is. And then, like my game boards design, for example, you might go, oh, I really don't know how to solve that. And then you go to bed and then you wake up and go, I've got the solution. I've got it. So just a time away. So sometimes the right thing to do with the project is to not work on it. And then your brain starts to work it all out. So that's what I would recommend here. Jam's saying that as well. Sally's saying that as well. Especially if you put 2 years worth of work onto it, there's got to be something there. And so I personally would finish the first draft. Finish the first draft, because the first draft is always going to be ropey. There'll be bits you can improve. And then I would step back and I would make a list of, store, never destroy. Exactly, Jam, exactly. Oh, Jam's put, no, it's privately funded in the Facebook group. Oh, there you go. So he had a Facebook group who privately funded it. So that was a novel that has sat in a drawer for 25 years. So please don't delete it. And then you could read it again. So once you finish the first draft, this is why I always bang on about getting the first draft done, because then you can go back to it, have a bit of time away from it, then you go back to it, and then you can write down the things you don't like about it and things you want to change. But don't beat yourself up about it. Don't get depressed about it, because it really doesn't matter at that stage. You can just keep changing it and changing it and changing it and changing it until you are happy with it. And the other thing I found with creativity, things are never really finished. So you might think, right, you know, I could just change that, I could just change that. You get it to a certain standard, and then just go, right, I've kind of finished it now. Martha's, but I'm still in the outlining phase. Have 20 chapters with individual names, but I'm stuck. Okay, so you're still in the outlining phase, which is fine, absolutely. Then you need to work out why you're stuck and try and work around that problem, how you can solve that problem. I know that's rubbish advice, because that's probably what you've been doing. But yeah, I would keep going. Maybe give it a bit of a rest and then come back to it. Jonathan's joined us. Hello, sir. How are you? Books are never finished, only abandoned. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. You'll get to a stage where hopefully you'll get to a stage, Martha, when you've written it, you know, when you've done the outline and you've written it, you know, you've done a first draft, maybe a second draft, maybe a third draft, and you'll get to a stage where you are happy with it. But then there's always that bit where you go, oh, well, I could just change this, I could add that, what about this? And then, but as Jonathan said, it's like at some point you've just got to go, right, that's finished, because I want to move on to a different project. You know, here it is, everybody. Good example is my game book that I'm writing. So it did manage to, you know, I've managed to, version 3 is the version that I then gave to the proofreaders, and so I'm happy with it. I'm happy with it, but there's still bits in there that I'm going, oh, is that, you know, maybe I could have done this differently. You know, is that going to be understood? Are the paragraphs too long? Are the paragraphs too short? But I've just gone, right, that is probably the best I'm going to get it in the time slot that I've got. Because I did want to get everything sent to everybody in May. So I could go on indefinitely with this, but then, you know, and then you get to a point, I guess, where you go, how much are you actually improving it if you keep working on it? You know, are you just going to make it worse? Because you might go around the other spectrum and it gets to its optimal, and then you're kind of changing it for changing its sake. I don't know. Back in a motor, Sally. Jam has put, I got stuck during the tavern on Gallows Hill. I needed another plot, but all I could think of was a dull escort idea. Hello, is it dull though? It turned out to be the most popular. Yeah, exactly. There you go. So Jam, obviously with a deadline as well, just went, oh God, I need another plot, but I've got to get it done. Okay, I've got this idea. And then just went with it, tried to make it work. Thought maybe that it wasn't going to be as good as the main plot, you know, and just like, well, it's there. Let's get it out the door. And then people have probably contacted him saying, oh, I really like that escort part of the book. Boom. You never know. HB Sally. What's that type of sauce? She is a bit saucy. Don't tell her, she's not here. Don't. Kind feel like the B plot is boring. It's about two guards who is keeping a secret that is terrified to tell others. Not sure how to write that convincingly. Well, do you know what? That in itself doesn't sound boring. And it's a B plot as well. So B plots, I mean, they can be very exciting and very larger than life. I would say that B plots are lower in stakes, if you like. There's still tension there, but they're not as, I don't know what the word is, but they are quieter, maybe, the B plots, you know, your subplots, and they're there to kind of support the main plot. So I mean, I don't know the rest of it, but that sounds like a perfectly good B plot. Not sure how to write. So what I would recommend, Martha, is don't worry about how you think you're going to write it. Okay, put it in. Get your draft. Get your first outlines done. So if the way you write it is you're going to outline every chapter, what happens in every chapter, put it in. That's going to be the B plot. Put it in and run it through your through your outlines, and then worry about that when you get to write it, because you might surprise yourself. You might find it's actually fairly easy to write about that. I'm also thinking of removing some characters that don't fit anywhere or help the plot at all. Yes, that is a good idea, because really everything needs to feed into the plots. So it's either a main plot or the subplots. They do that in film. If you can take out a scene and still tell the stories, that scene isn't needed. That scene isn't worth it. Because you don't really want things to sag, so to speak. And it was my birthday yesterday, so, you know, I'm getting older. I know about that. So you just want to... make sure it's lean. But I would recommend finishing the outline and then going back through the outline to see, actually that chapter it's not needed. Get rid of that chapter. And then do the cutting. But always finish, I personally try and finish one process. So for example, when I was writing my game book, the flow diagram, the plotting of each entry and what happens in each entry, I finished before I wrote any of the entries. Well, apart from the sample. But do you see what I mean? I actually finished writing, even though this took a month to do, and I was itching to start writing the thing. I was like, no, finish this, because then I know the plot works. I know where it's all going. And you know what? That was brilliant advice from Jonathan. He said, use the flow diagram. So then when I came to write the book, you know, I would go, right, okay, right, the next entry. What happens in the next entry? Oh, yeah, that they're meant to do that, and that. Right, okay, cool. Now I've got it. And it just made writing the actual entries a lot easier. And also, I tried to with the game book. Jonathan Jam will know about this. You've got, say you aimed for 400. I actually... My main plot kind of finished about 250. So I was like, right, okay, I've still got all these other entries. And then I came out with a genius idea. I won't spoil it. And so I then went, great, I can carry on the main plot. It's difficult to explain it without spoilers. And so it wasn't filler, because it was still part of the main plot. but it needed to still sync in with the main plot. It needed to tie in with it, if you see what I mean. And with a game book, I don't think there's any subplots in game books unless you do. I guess. Oh yeah. In Joseph Daniel does this actually. He's in the book that we're going through at the moment, the prologue. The what's it? The Sick and the Dead or something. Yeah, the Sick and the Dead. He has flashbacks, so they're like little subplots. Jonathan's question. Yeah. Thank you. Happy 26th birthday. Yes, thank you for my... I am 26. Use them as Fall Guys or fodder later on. Yeah, that's also a good idea. You could maybe do that. I remember telling Jonathan I was thinking of publishing a book. He gave a 2-word reply. Hopefully it was do it. There we go, do it. So I did it. Nothing rude, I hope. No, exactly. And that's how it should be. It's part of the journey is doing it. And remember, Martha, it can be hard work writing a game book. You know, a book, let alone a game book. It could be writing a game book and writing a novel. These are hard things. So please don't get down about it. Don't beat yourself up about it. Yeah. You never been rude to my knowledge. Jonathan, guys, is the most potty-mouthed man I've ever met. Jonathan, he's always rude. Seriously, no. Just joking. Martha's put again. I'm still holding you to the hug you said you give me when I finally go to England. Yeah. Jonathan's got a lovely bear hug. I don't think we've ever hugged Jonathan, have we? A nice polite handshake is really all that's needed. And look at this. Look at this for a bit of nostalgia. Oh, it smells of 1973. A good vintage. Yes. Sally did manage to find a Beano that was from 1973. Not quite my birthday, maybe 19th, but still. The comic with Dennis the Menace. Look at this. Every Thursday, 2p. Look at this. So she found this in a bookshop in... yeah, 2p. In St Albans. Look at that. Who remembers reading Little Plum? Look at Little Plum. Who remembers that? I remember Little Plum. I remember Biffo the Bear. Never really liked Biffo the Bear. Don't know why. I didn't really like his thing. Then the Three Bears. I did forget about those, but looking at it, I was like, oh yeah, the Three Bears. Grandpa. Don't remember Grandpa. Minnie the Minx. Classic Minnie the Minx. She was great. Minnie the Minx. Then we've got Lord Snooty. Do you remember Lord Snooty? Lord Snooty was great. The Nibblers. Absolutely. You remember the Nibblers? They are in here. Where are they? The Nibblers. There we go, the Nibblers. I still have my pocket paperback Garfield 3 panel gag compilation. Okay, fantastic, Lirin. Trust me, no one wants a bear hug from me, because all I hear is a grunt in pain. I see. That's fair enough. Give them warning then if you do that. Babyface Flinnerson. I do remember Babyface. I think when I read it was just called Babyface. I'm not sure, but yeah, look at that Babyface. He was was he a gangster? I think he was like a gangster or something. I can't remember. The cutest bandit in the West. There you go. He was a bandit. Then we got the Mythicals. Don't remember the Mythicals. Fantastic. And then we've got... oh yeah, the Nibblers and Little Plum. And then at the back, Dennis the Menace. And Nasher. Fun fact, I'm actually related to the guy that drew the original Dennis the Menace. So this one might be his. Yeah. David Law. David Law is my relative on my mum's side. So, kudos. Yeah. he lived and worked in Dundee, which is where this magazine was created, where this comic strip was created. So there we are. Related to Dennis the Menace. So thank you very much, Sally. She did get me a few other things as well. Oh yeah, she got me a... But I've pulled out some of the interesting ones, either fantasy related or nostalgia. And look at this. She got me a national... This was when we went to the National Trust for my birthday. There we go. It's a dragon fighting... Sorry, a knight on horseback fighting a dragon. Although Sally thought it was another knight, which I can kind of understand because I had to do a double take of what it is. So I do have another badge. I've got another badge. Anywho, yes, so updates abound. So with the game book, I have done 2 of the 20 illustrations. So just to let you know, people are playtesting the game book now. If you do want to playtest the game book, go to the Edra Tales, www.edratales.com. Follow the links to... There you go, that's how you spell Edra Tales. Follow the links to the playtest, and then you can download the files. I recommend that you download them all, then you read the thank you for playtesting note first, because then it will tell you a bit about, you know, what I'm looking for in the playtesting, and then it will also say, what will it say? I can't remember. There's other little instructions in there as well, and then you can email me the feedback. I've left an email address in there. And also then you've got the puzzles, you've got... I recommend doing the puzzles not first and on their own, but within the context of the game book. And then it's got other things there. It's got the combat sheet, it's got the adventure sheet, it's got the sleep encounters, the events, and also the incantation spells. They're all separate PDFs. And the book is hyperlinked, so the actual entries, when it says, you know, what choice do you want to do, you can just click on the hyperlink and it will take you to the next entry, because I thought that'd be easier for you guys. So there you go. So if you want to playtest it, there's still time. So thank you so much for playtesting. Appreciate that. And yeah, so I'm now doing the illustrations. I've done 2 of the illustrations so far. I need to do 18 more. In the hardback, I'm pretty sure I said I was going to put an extra 10 illustrations in the hardback. So that's going to be interesting. So I need to do more of those. What is Grocklesnook doing? He's just chilling out, aren't you? He's come back from his splunking trip. How was it? It was good. He enjoyed his splunking. You know, big series of caves, you know, flying around, hanging out with relatives, that kind of thing. St. George, yes, it could be St. George. It could be St. George, my badge. He has a tear in his eye. I know, he's... Taxi Driver by Martin Scorsese, the director of Hugo, is available digitally to own on Apple this week. Gonna buy it later. Fantastic, Lee Rin. I like that little nugget there. Taxi Driver is a very fine film. It's very brutal, but it's very good. Yeah, absolutely. And director of Hugo, I was an extra in Hugo. If you watch Hugo, you should see me walking up and down the train station. That's how I met Rich, actually. So, what else have I been doing? I have also been doing other things. Wonky Wand, the Wonky Wand. He stopped splunking in caves for the time being. He has at the minute, Jonathan. Yeah, got a bit messy. Oh, come on. Come on now, keep it clean. Yeah, he's back. He's back, you know, back into the dungeon. I'll buy Hugo next when it goes on special. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, that was an amazing experience. 6 months I was on that film. 6 months. They filmed it in Shepperton Studios, which is... It's only about an hour away from me, actually. Long days. We had to get there for like 6 in the morning. We didn't finish till like 8. But we got paid something like £200, £250 a day. So that was good. Good money. Even goblins need to mate. Exactly. Little imps. For £2, says Lyrin, this weekend, all like the Blues Brothers. Blues Brothers is a classic film. Yeah, I love Blues Brothers. So, hello, mate. Hello. What else was I going to say? Oh yes, the Wonky Wand. We play tested the Wonky Wand. So yesterday on my birthday, Sally came over, my friend Adrian and his son Lars. Now Adrian, my friend, we've been friends 20 years, 25 years. He now lives in Dubai and he was over for a holiday, so he came over. It was very cool, and we played some board games, which was good fun. We did play the Wonky Wand, which is the sequel to the Crooked Crown, and they really liked it. They thought it was good. Sally hadn't played it at that point either. I play tested it about 4 or 5 times before, so it's at the point now where it's pretty much good to go. It's good to pitch. So we will be pitching it at UK Games. So that's very exciting. And also, another thing that hopefully I'll be pitching at UK Games is my murder mystery game, Devilish Deaths. So we've got Devilish Dilemmas and Devilish Deaths. The imp is in my footy team. The imps, yeah, absolutely. Well, they can fly, so surely they've got an advantage. Swoop down. There, that was terrible. Right, so yes, Devilish Deaths, deliciously difficult murders to solve. Been working on this for about 1.5 years, maybe even longer, and I've play tested it enough times now. I've made lots of nice changes to it, and it is a murder mystery game, as you can tell. There's going to be, hopefully, if someone picks it up. So this is the rules. Like, this is the 2-sided version of the rules. It actually has got a lot more rules. This is the pitch sheet. So with a pitch sheet, if you've never pitched to a publisher before, or a sell sheet they call it, Blues Brothers are fantastic. Lincoln City, of course. Lincoln City, they're the imps. Oh, I thought you said imps are in your football team. Yeah, so if you've never done a sell sheet before, I always do it this way. I looked online. There are examples of, people have put up sell sheets. Also, there's a YouTube channel called Adam in Wales, who's very good. He goes through sell sheets. And so I've done an overview of what the game is. I've done the atmosphere. Oh, there's my contact details. let me just put that down there. Then we've got, then we have atmosphere. I kind of want to give them an idea of what it's like when you play the game. And that is based on play testing. So I always write this after a good number of play tests. And part of playtesting, I always see how people are enjoying it and what their reactions are and kind of what it makes them feel when they're playing the game. Because some games, it's very thinky, and so it's very quiet and you're just all thinking things out. Other games like the Crooked Crown that Kedrick and myself designed, it's very much take that and you do that. It's very much a noisy-ish game, There's a lot going on. There's good player interaction. So I write the atmosphere, the mechanics, I give a little overview. So obviously you have not got space to go into the precise detail of how it works. So you basically just say, murder mystery game where you investigate clues, forensics, speak to witnesses, question witnesses, and play your power deduction cards. You move around locations on the board, hoping to find out, gathering clues, basically. Hoping to find out who, and then you guess to see who, you make an accusation of, accusation? Yeah, accusation. I'm confused now how to say it. Accusation of who the murderer is. And that's kind of it. That was all I would put there. Selling points. Now, I do like to put the selling points at the top. You can't really put them at the first thing they read, but I put them up here. Because if they look at it, they might just gravitate towards there. And that's sort of what's unique about your game, or why you think the publisher should pick up the game. So I put highly sociable because it's a cooperative game. Play engagement until the end. So obviously there's new clues, new information that's coming to the players as the game progresses. Immersive themes and stories. So obviously each case has its setup and is set somewhere, and you've got all the characters within the case. Engaging teamwork. So again, engaging teamwork. You're working together as a cooperative team. Minimal downtime. Yes. So again, even though you take turns playing, you want to listen to what someone else is doing because they're reading out information that's going to help you solve the case. So although somebody's doing an individual turn, it's benefiting everybody. Strategic combination actions, yeah. So you might, I've got ways that you can do more actions than you're allowed to do. Perfect for future case expansions in different genres and eras. So basically, I've got the board which is blank, and each case is put into cards. So the actual case is all done on cards. So if I want to do a Wild West version, all you need is the base game, and then you would buy an expansion, say that's the Wild West. So there'll be a murder in the Wild West. That will be the expansion, and then I'll just fit it into the system. So I've designed like a neutral system that then can take different expansions further down the line. So I could set it in the future on a spaceship. I could do a medieval murder mystery. So there we go. So that's the social sheets. And then I put the components, but again, I reduce it down to its very basic. So just so it's short. They haven't got a lot of time to read this sort of stuff. And then I just did a little bit of blurb about case 1. Lord Alistair Godwinson, 2nd Earl of Malmesbury, suddenly slumps over whilst enjoying a relaxing game of cards in the casino with his wife and friends at the Emerald Royal Hotel, London. You only have 24 hours to solve the murder. And then your contact details at the end. So that's how I do a pitch sheet. LIG6 almost had a brownie in it due to the location. In the end, I settled for other Scottish folk creature. Absolutely, Jam, I should say. Back when I was a boy, our school's pastor openly declared the Melbourne Demons was his favourite football team and jokingly summoned a prayer for the victim. Excellent. P.S. It said imps are equivalent to evil brownies. Oh, that's where you get the brownies. Cleaning the houses, running errands and cooking supper for Lucifer and witches. Yes, imps are a little bit mischievous, though. They do like to play tricks, don't they, on humans. Jonathan has put it, when I visited Melbourne in 1999, I went to Aussie Rules football match and saw the Melbourne Demons play the Geelong Cats. Yeah, I think I'll be supporting the Melbourne Demons. Much better name. Fantastic. Australia's a great place, isn't it? I did go, my son lives in Australia now, and I've been twice, but I went to Brisbane. He's not really in sport. I'm not really into sport that much, so we didn't go and see a sporting team. Should our own club called the Meaty Tubes, the Mighty Tubes, the Mighty Meaty Tubes. So there we go. So I've done the pitch sheet. I've done the two-sided rule book because there is actually much more. There is actually, there's quite a few rules. But this one is a two-sided rule book because you don't want to you don't want to give too much. You don't want to overwhelm a publisher. However, I'm doing a two-sided rule book because I am entering it into the speed dating part of the UK Games Expo, which means that you submit your pitch sheet, which is one-sided of A4, and you also submit a two-sided rule book. And again, it said if you've got a bigger rule book, just put the main sort of rules in there. Small World was in Melbourne back then. Oh wow, fantastic! The tumescent tubes sounds medical for some reason. I got another one. The Edra hot dogs. Better yet, the Edra chili dogs. No, surely it'd be the Edra Mystics. Mythics. I call you Mythics, don't I? The Edra Mythics. There you go. There you go. So they want a single sheet of A4 as a pitch sheet, a double-sided maximum rule book, and then optional is a video of about 3 to 4 minutes. The Meaty Mythics. There we are. I think that's the one. The Meaty Mythics. And so I spent about, 6 hours videoing this making this video. Yeah, maybe 8 hours. So basically, I laid out the board. I got all the bits. Well, before that, I typed up a script. And again, I basically went over just the main bits of what you do in the board game, and just videoed all of the, So the way I do it is I write the script and then I record. I've got a nice recorder that's good quality, because that, I think, when you're doing a video, the picture can be a little bit wonky, but the sound is the main thing. A lot of people are put off by listening to bad sound. As long as we're not biting, screaming, portman, I can't read that word. Other dogs are perfectly fine. Pomeranians. Oh, Jonathan visited the comic shop when he was there. Imagine that. Imagine if you somehow find out that you unknowingly crossed paths. Imagine that. That you sort of bumped into each other. Oh, excuse me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, thanks. And then years later. Do you know what? Things like that happen. It's bizarre. Would it have been called the Minotaurs, perchance? Says Lee Rin. Oh, the comic shop. Yeah, there you go. Could be. Who knows? This is like a Cilla Black moment. So I videoed it. So what I do is I type out the script, then I record the voiceover, and then what I have to do is edit the voiceover, because I might have gone, Devilish Deaths is a... Oh, start again. Devilish Deaths is a murder mystery game of intrigue and... and so I might have to do it again. So I edit all the mistakes out and I tidy it all up. And then I know how long the actual video is going to be. And then what I do is I set out the board game as I want it, as the setup. And then I video sort of B-roll shots. So I do swooping shots of the board, of the zoom in on the characters, zoom in on tokens, zoom in on certain cards. Just so you've got enough B-roll. Because when you're actually... Then I film the actual thing. So I might say, take a clue card, look for a clue that you want to read out, that you want to examine, and then turn it over and read it out loud. So I will video that action. So if there's a specific action that I've got in the script, I will video that particular action. However, there are bits that aren't particular to doing moves on the board, that's where you put your B-roll in. So then it might be, for example, the selling points. It'll be the selling points are it's highly cooperative, it's highly social, and I put bullet points on the screen, but in the background I'm just sort of panning across the board, because otherwise you'll have nothing to show. And I haven't got time to sort of set up where people are playing the game. You can do all that, but I just think really you want to keep it tight. You want to focus on just the bare essentials of trying to sell your game to a publisher. Achoo. Bless you. Exactly. No idea, says Jonathan. It might be worth, if you can track down which shop it was. It really might be worth doing that. It's okay. All Star Comics is another one I recommend. Okay, when you go to Melbourne again. There might be some old archives on Google that on the internet that you'll go, oh, I recognise that one. Yeah, that's the one. So that's kind of how I do it. And then what I do is I piece all the film footage from my phone. I just literally phone it there. Make sure you get enough light, which is quite tricky in the dungeon, but I manage it somehow. And then upload it to the computer, and then I put and then what I do is then what do I do? Oh yeah, then I bring it into the editing suite. I put the voice track into the editing, and again I then just listen to the voice track, and then I go, right, that bit of B-roll, shot of me moving the camera over, I'll put that as the opening. Then what I do is I then go, right, okay, now we're on to actual, bits that I need to demonstrate the turns. So I put them in. And then once I've got, all of that lined up, I then do the graphics. So I do a starting page, which normally is just information about the game. So it's normal. It was that with 6 of those as a title screen, while I'm just saying what it is: a cooperative murder mystery game of intrigue, investigation, and accusations for 2 to 6 players. Then I go into the video and I put graphics. So I just put on screen the what I'm talking about. So I put gameplay, aim of the game, mechanics, atmosphere. I kind of put headers, sort of following the pitch sheet, because if they've got the pitch sheet in front of it and they're watching the video, it kind of mirrors there what I'm saying. And then it will be, and then what I do, so for the selling points, I also put bullet points of the selling points, because I think visually, if they're seeing the selling points, I think that makes an impact. If you're seeing it as well as hearing it, I'm just reinforcing those selling points. And then I also do the same with the components. There's a list of components that come up. And then once I've got all that done, I then look for music. Now I look for obviously free copyright, free music, and put that in as well. So obviously it's a murder mystery game, so I type in murder mystery game, murder mystery music, and then just spend time working out, and obviously I need a track that's longer than, this was 3.5 minutes my video, so I needed a track that was about that, but I found one that was really perfect, that was only 2 minutes and 20, but what I cleverly did was then just loop it back in. So I don't worry necessarily if I can't find a track that's fully going to be fulfilling the whole video. I will then you'll be surprised how you can just layer it in and just sort of fade a bit out, and then fade in the new bit, and it kind of goes in seamlessly. So that worked out really well, and so very, very happy with the video, and I do recommend it. So then what I'm going to do is, the deadline, by the way, if you are submitting, you might not be, but is the 21st of April. So I needed to get it done, and I knew I was spending all day with Sally and Adrian and his son Lars yesterday, and then this weekend I'm going away as well. So I'm back Sunday, and it's like, I didn't want to be videoing that and editing that on the last day of the actual deadline. So I'm glad I got it all done. And so so I'm very happy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to submit that at some point over the weekend, probably Sunday night. And then, though, I did want to also submit my bee game. Do you remember my bee game? Look at this. I found some bees. So I thought that's quite cute. So I'm going to stick these. Oh, is that too big? Oh, well, I've got one. I was going to stick one on there anyway, so that's cool. I've got extra bees. Do you remember my bee game? Misbehave. I did want to send this in as well. So again, I'm going to be up probably up late on Sunday videoing this. Now this is a much simpler game to explain, so it shouldn't take too long to do all of this. But yeah, so that's cool. It's been a while since I've play tested this one. Look at the little bees. Woo. We've got different kinds. So yeah, so I'm hoping, so this is the plan for UK Games. I'm hoping to be nice, says Martha. Just want to sleep more and kind of want to go out and get snacks. Lovely. 2 of my favourite things. I want to write an FF Fighting Fantasy with Jonathan. It's Rihanna Pratchett's fault. Yeah, exactly. I don't know how you would... I guess, it's like when Kedrick and I design board games, how you would co-author. I guess you'd just have meetings and say, right, what do we want the book to be about? And then you would discuss it, throw ideas around. This is kind of what we do with the way we design board games. Oh, it's okay. All Star Comics is another one. Oh, I've read that one. So the plan for UK Games is I'll be demoing the game Guildlands that's coming out later this year for Cheatwell and Outset Media. And that's co-designed with Kedrick Winks as well, so that's very exciting. Going to be demoing that. We'll be still demoing the Crooked Crown, because that's still out and available to buy. So if you've not bought it, it's a great game. Check it out. And also, I'll be hopefully doing the speed dating, which is Friday night. And hopefully it'll be Devilish Deaths. And maybe the B game as well. So I'm not sure how that works if both games get picked. I might have to ask someone to sort of pitch one of the games for me. Probably the B game. So we'll see though. But I might not get, neither of the games might get picked. So the way that speed dating works is publishers then look at all the games that have submitted, and then I think only if your games get selected by one of the publishers, you're in. And so what happens is all the designers sit in tables in this big room, and you set up your game. And then when everybody's ready, the publishers come in, and then they start, they get allocated a table to start with. You have 5 minutes, they say, right, and go. And you've got 5 minutes to pitch your game. And that's also for allowing questions at the end if you want to give them a chance to ask any questions. And then once the bell rings, off they go. They then all move around, and then you do it again. And we did it last year, Kedrick and myself, with our Titanic game. And it's good fun. It's a good way to practice your pitching as well, because you got 5 minutes. You got to nail this. You got to be on it. You got to explain it and make it sound exciting and all of that in 5 minutes or less. And then what happens is if they're interested, they normally will hand you their business card, and they'll probably say, yeah, I'd like to demo that game and would like to play it. Come by our stand and we'll arrange a time. So that's kind of the aim. So hopefully you then have sold a game. So it's a good way to meet a lot of publishers and pitch it 20 times or 15 times. Because then you got a good chance of getting it published. So there we go. So that is the aim. So it'd be great if I could get Devilish Deaths, signed to a publisher, and also the old B game, Misbehave, signed to a publisher as well. We could have been meeting tubes. Hey. Since werewolves can obviously control the structural composition down to the secular level. This is what I like about this show. You never know what's going to crop up in the chat. Would it be reasonable to assume a spy werewolf can alter the face, height, hair colour of his human form? Or would that be cheating? And should all werewolves be stuck in the default form in human shape instead? Very good question, Lirin. My first instinct would be, I thought werewolves can't control it, because once the full moon comes out, it just happens to them. They transform and they go from wolf to human, a little bit like the Incredible Hulk. It's Hulk or human. I would say that's more a shapeshifter, where they can actually shapeshift into other creatures or other beings, and they can choose to do it. They sort of go, I'm going to do it now. Shapeshift. Bit like D&D, where you got your the druids, I think. The druids can do that. Good question. Read Prowlers by Christopher Golden. Oh, okay. Spy Werewolf. Spy Werewolf, yeah. He works for the IT department. That's how I would put it. That's how, because I thought werewolves don't really have that control. Once it's a full moon, they're off, they're out, they have to do it. Woof. Ding. Spyware woof. I'll give you another one. There you go. Yeah, so that is the plan. So it'd be really cool to have 2 games coming out the following year. So we've had the Crooked Crown last year, Kedrick and myself, and also Kedrick and myself having Guildlands. Kedrick has signed a few other games of his to other publishers as well, so I'm not 100% sure when they're coming out. But also, yeah, the China tariffs and all of that, the US tariffs, a lot of board game companies are either delaying their Kickstarter, or they're swallowing the cost for some of it, but not for all of it. It's all a bit confusing at the moment. So I wonder how that's going to impact the board game industry right across the board. So from my point of view, like, are publishers not going to take on as many games now? Is it going to be harder to sell a game to a publisher because of the risk that, if you're producing a game and there's another tariff, it's doubled, are they just going to not sell to America? What would you do? You would sort of go, right, well, we can't sell to America because it's not cost effective anymore. Or do they just swallow the costs? Or do they go, right, we're going to cut down production so we're not risking as much money? Instead of producing 20 board games in a year, they produce 10 in a year because they're saving money by not doing that. How will it affect the industry? So that's going to be an interesting thing to see how it all shakes out. But from my point of view, obviously, I hope that they will still take on, new games. They will do, because that's just the nature of it. But maybe it's going to cull the amount of new games that come out each year. Leaving Spirit, Werewolves 1990 onwards, since the table RPG. Oh, Werewolves of the Apocalypse are free-willed shape-shifting warriors. Oh. Closer to the nature-defending druids that inspired their myth. The moon only affects how bad their tempers rage is on the day, not when they change, but when they get mad. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Okay, so that's interesting. So I would see, personally, I would say that that's particular to Werewolves of Apocalypse. That's how I've always seen this. So when you take something that's classic, like, say, for example, a vampire, there's a classic model of what a vampire is, exactly the same as a werewolf. There's a set thing of what a werewolf is, or what a zombie is, or the undead is. But then when someone does something different with it, I don't see that as then that's the standard. So for me, I wouldn't say that is the standard, that werewolves are free-willed shapes. I would say that's particular to that universe. Because I would still, so I might have it where a werewolf in my universe is, cannot change when it happens. It happens at night. However, I might have it that werewolves, what else could you throw in there? Yeah, that werewolves... maybe if they mate, then their offsprings do have the free choice. But that would be particular to my or maybe the girls have free choice. Girl werewolves have free choice, boy werewolves don't. Then that would be particular to my one. And I guess it depends on, if something becomes massively popular, then does that become the new standard? But I would still argue no, because if you look back on what a classical werewolf is, that's just the way that I see it. Obviously, other people might disagree there on that one. James put in, nice. Some werewolf action in Return to the Tavern Girls Hill, and a character called Lee Rin. Hey. Hurrah. There we go. Oh, look at the time. We're coming up for an hour. God, I always think, what am I going to talk about? I know I can talk for an hour about anything, really, to be honest, but I do go, right, okay, I'm going to talk about this, I'm going to talk about that, I'm going to talk about this, right, great. Is that going to be enough? It's always enough. And that's also because of the wonderful contribution you guys make as well. Your comments, it's so much fun doing this. Okay, that's probably about it then, isn't it? Unless there's anything else people want to talk about. I'm also gearing up for a Hearts Book Festival, which is happening in May. 2 days in May, one in Hertford, one in Ware, and that's been a lot of fun. Jonathan came to one of them. That was really good fun when Jonathan was there. So I'm gearing up for that. I was hoping to get the game book ready for that, but I don't think it's going to be ready for that, which is a shame. But hey, But what I probably will do is put out the samples again and then just direct them to my website, you know, to look out when it's going to be published. Vampires don't burn up in sunlight in the original Dracula. Oh, there you go. Oh, is that true? Right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess you've got to, that is a good point. I guess you've got to sort of go, right, okay, what is the source of this material? Who was the first person that came up with vampires? You know, where did that come from? What's the original story? And I would then say that's kind of like the standard. I guess Hollywood then, was it Hollywood that did the old yeah, see? And you thought I would never make it in Hollywood. I remember in chemistry class that silver, a positively charged element, attracts nitrogen, a negatively charged element found in soil, easily, hence the silver nitrate, hence the scientific justification of shapeshifters. Mother Earth's warriors spiritually bound to the land, being weak to silver in my universe. Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine. This is what I mean by, if you can create, if you take something and you slightly change it, then I would say that's particular to your universe. And I personally then I wouldn't want to nick that idea, if you see what I mean. Because that's your idea. I think it might have been the original... there you go, Nosferatu that introduced that element. Yeah, I guess that was still early on, so maybe people weren't really aware of the vampire myth, you know, so I guess it could still be shaped into people's consciousness. I was going to give another example there. I've forgotten what I was going to say. Vampires don't burn... Oh yeah, that was it. So when I did my research for the Story Spark cards, the werewolf, I found out that yes, you can become a werewolf if you're bitten by a werewolf. You can then, you've got it in you and you then become a werewolf. However, another way to become a werewolf, and this was what I found as in classic werewolf mythology, is that if you drink rainwater from the footprint of a werewolf, you can become a werewolf. I mean, that's great. I don't think that's in many books. So you could put that into your book and people might go, oh, that's an original idea, but it's not. It's actually part of the classic mythology. But then that would be part of your universe. It was German cinema. Yeah, Nosferatu, The Sympathy of Terror. The director could find a way of defeating the titular count and hence decide to end the film with sunlight killing him. Oh, okay. But, well, I tell you what, it must have worked. Well, it obviously worked because that then influenced, that became part of the mythology. Or at least faded, then crumbled with what's his name? I can't pronounce his name. Cushing. There you go, Cushing. And Lee, can't remember the first sunburn vampire. Yeah, that's probably it. Could not find a way. Yeah, silly autocorrect. So yeah, there you go. I guess because it was still early on and the myth of the vampire wasn't well known, probably. That's probably why they could still do it. Stoker was a Starker, wasn't he? Was a staker. Stoker was a staker who was stark raving mad. Who was Stoker was a staker who was stark raving mad as a streaker. Don't know what we're doing here. Give you one of those anyway. It was Bowie knife, more accurately a Kirkry. Oh, okay. It was a Bowie knife. A David Bowie knife. Oh, blame David. There it is. Okay, there we go. So we've been rattling on for over an hour now. So thank you so much for joining me. I do appreciate it. It's a lot of fun doing these. It's great catching up with you guys. Martha's got to go. Exactly. Your dad is here. Have fun for the rest of the day and take care. Thank you for watching, Martha. I do appreciate it. Enjoy your day with Dad. And happy Easter to everybody. If you celebrate Easter, happy Easter. The meaning of Easter obviously is chocolate. It's not chocolate. It's not chocolate. Kukri is a Nepalese knife shaped like a curved moon with the cutting edge on the inside of the curve. Kind of like a sickle. Yeah. Presumably it's like a sickle that's used for crops, isn't it? A sickle. There you go, a Kukri. Oh, that's quite a cool name, isn't it? So thank you so much. Have a lovely weekend, everybody. And also, yeah, happy Easter. Have a lovely that. Look out for the Easter Beagle. Oh, Snoopy. Love Snoopy. Thank you to Grockle Snook. You alright, mate? Yeah. Good. I think he's going swimming later. Are you going swimming later? Yeah, he's going swimming. He does like a bit of a swim. Even though he can fly, but, you know. It was... Back to LG. Yes, so... Book number 6, Type Up. Happy Egg Weekend. Spare a thought for the man who died for us and rose again. I love Doctor Who. Yes, good luck with the typing. Jam is typing up. He's nearly finished typing up the second draft, I guess it is, because you handwrite it and then you type it up. And yeah, so I guess both of us. Jam's actually going to be delivering his game book in June, I think it is. So Jam's probably on track to deliver on time. I might be slipping into June, which means I'm missing my deadline of May, but hopefully I'll get at least the book to you in May. It was famously able to allow Nepal soldiers fighting for England to fight as equals to samurais in the Pacific. There we go, the technology of knives. Good luck, Jam. Absolutely, yeah. Good luck to everybody, and good luck if you are doing creative projects this weekend. Good luck to Jonathan for writing Cthulhu versus Shakespeare as well. That's exciting. And good luck, Martha, with yours. Oh, she's gone though, isn't she? Good luck, Martha, with your book. Don't delete it. Don't delete it. Just save it. Thank you, everybody. Really appreciate it, Jam. Thanks for watching. Thank you, Leering. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Sally. Thank you, Martha. And have I missed anyone out? I don't think I have. Thank you, Jam. Thank you, everybody, for watching. I really do appreciate it. Happy Easter, everybody. Goodbye. Thank you. And remember, may your thieving... Oh, look at this. Got a little poster. May your thieving never be caught. Right. It's off down the pub.